Hello, I'm David. I do. Let me mute that. Um, Much better. Okay, so I'm David. Like I said, I do stuff with This American Dice. It's a little podcast thing, and you know what? Um, I decided since everyone's quarantined, kinda, and people like to play games, but they're kind of stuck, can't do it face to face anymore, and a lot of people are doing it um, online. So seems like a perfect time to kind of get into this kind of stuff. So I figured a lot of people might be GMing for the first time. So figured I would do my part to kind of show whoever wants to know how I do my stuff. And I am starting, you might have seen it earlier, Essentials kit, especially good during this quarantine time, but usually always good. But because they have rules for kind of just one-on-one play, so it's just with a GM and just one player because maybe you don't have enough people to do it face to face. So yeah, figured I start with that. My graceful fiance has agreed to play a role playing game with me, uh, which is great. But she is pretty new to it. I've been playing since middle school, I think, but she is an actor and a musician, so pretty good. I'm pretty lucky. And we did character creation a little, I guess, last week, but I believe tomorrow is going to be our first actual session. So I'm going to prepare it. Let's see how it goes. Let's see. Oh, actually, if you can see this, here is her character. We built it in D&D Beyond. So she is man, film's still echoing. Don't like that. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. All right. Anyway, so yeah, this is, where was I? God, so okay, yeah, we're talking about character. So she surprised me. It was interesting. I was pretty sure she was going to pick an elf. Pretty sure. Well, I knew she was going to pick a bard because she uh really liked or she got really excited when I told her she could play ukulele while we are doing this. So she's definitely a bard, a ukulele bard, which not quite rules as written, but I'll allow it. But yeah, this is her. I had her roll her stats, the regular uh, 4d6, dropped the lowest, which is pretty exciting. She got pretty good stats 12, 15, 12, 13, 11, 15 after the racial bonuses and things. But yeah, she went with a halfling, which was surprising and interesting. She, what else? Oh, she also picked the background of a soldier. So she kind of came up with this backstory where she was a combat medic in some kind of war 5 or 10 years ago, and she kind of got disillusioned through this war that happened, and now she's just a traveling minstrel, righting wrongs, going on adventures, which is fascinating. I'm gonna love that. She's also was it the Strongheart halfling, which is kind of the less charismatic and more tough halflings, which was an interesting choice with barbarian, but she's not min maxing or anything. She is playing for fun, so pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know if you can see anything interesting. It's pretty much a normal first level character, but yeah, one thing about D&D that this brings up is the lore is so awesome just because it's been going on for decades. Hundreds, thousands of people have been adding to it as it goes along, and especially in the Forgotten Realms, there's just so much stuff to figure out. So after that character creation thing, she or she, like I said, mentioned that she was a veteran of a war, and I just went onto this Forgotten Realms wiki, which is super helpful for many things, but came across the biggest war that happened relatively recently, and it was as you can see here, the War of the Silver Marches, which is pretty awesome. There was um, two prominent white dragons that fought on the side of the bad guys, I guess, which is kind of amazing because I don't want to spoil anything, but if you see the that background there, uh, the ice dragon is kind of the aforementioned dragon of Icespire Peak. So one of the veteran or the soldier kind of I don't know, I forget what they're called, but the bonds or something, the bonds and the personality traits and all that. They said something along the lines of, "Oh, you're still scared by something that haunts you from the wars of the past." So white dragon's perfect. It writes itself. I love it. So pretty set up for um, kind of an amazing character, and also because this is her first game of D&D specifically, and because we're just playing one-on-one. The cool thing about Dragon of Icespire Peak is that they introduce sidekicks, which are kind of minimalized NPCs that could kind of go along and help in fights and combat and such. So the Essentials kit comes with, I think, 9 of them, and I let her pick 2 instead of the regular 1 because she's a little green right now. So since she is a bard, I encourage her to pick a warrior sidekick type and a spellcasting one. I think the other one was expert, which would be too much overlapping, I think. But just based on pictures alone, she went with a Nerva Nightbreeze, which is an amazing name. I love it. You can see her picture here. And the other one she went with was Shanjian Quan, which is the spellcaster who's kind of he came back to life as a child and kind of thinks he's destined for something. So yeah, those two are going to be kind of following her around, helping her out statistically and story wise, I guess. I'm making him, I think, based on what they describe here, they kind of set him up to be a more of a wizard type, but I think I'm just going to make him a healer anyway. I can kind of understand that since he came back to life. Maybe he would, be sort of a necromancer priest sort of thing, dealing with healing and all that, just escaping death any way possible. So this guy's going to be interesting. Inverna Nightbreeze, also amazing. This cowboy hat's perfect. And also, one of the other things I really love about this Essentials kit thing is that it's the town that it's set in, Phandalin, which has been used in, I think, the starter set. Acquisitions Incorporated went there, I believe. Adventure Zone was started there too. I think they destroyed it in their run, but yeah, all these pictures are amazing, by the way. I'm distracted. But anyway, Phandalin is awesome. It's set up as a frontier town, kind of an old mining place, and now it's kind of been destroyed and rebuilt a couple times. And right now people are starting to move back into it. So I'm just going to run it as kind of a cowboy deadwood kind of thing, which lets me use a southern accent, which is one of the only accents I could do well, but not really. But actually, yeah, speaking of that, I'm going to start. All of that was kind of general knowledge, but I'm going to start going into the spoiler stuff. So if you're going to play this game, I might suggest not watching this one, I guess, taking a break, because you're going to get a little spoiled, at least on the first kind of adventure encounter kind of thing. So that being said, what am I doing? Okay, yeah. So like I said, there's this was the Essentials kit, the Dragon of Icespire Peak, but there's also that starter kit, the Lost Mines of Phandelver. Yeah, I think that's true. So all that stuff is really cool, and I'm just gonna steal some of it to either, I mean, just because it's cool, honestly, but also because it's I can kind of foreshadow where if my fiance is really into this, I could be like, well, why don't we just play that too? But um, yeah, and I also want to not only that, but foreshadow other things. The Essentials kit kind of has this extra add-on you can. I think they give you for free. There's like a little code in the back, so I've peppered in some of those just in case too. But yeah, I want to combine a few of them. I definitely want the kind of the inciting incident of the starter set is these three dwarven brothers that go off searching for a mine, the lost mine, in fact, the Rock Seeker brothers. So I'm gonna kind of put them in various places, I think. Um, but yeah, I think they're gonna be in here. There's also what was their name? Someone who the wood carver died. Thel Dendrar, actually Thel Dendrar. Yeah, I love these fantasy names, by the way. They're all amazing, especially in the Forgotten Realms. But regardless, he kind of died before the other adventure started, so I'm gonna add him in. He's gonna get his moment to shine. He's I think they say he's a wood carver, but I did notice on the map there is no there is a blacksmithy, but no actual blacksmith that they kind of talk about. So I'm thinking I might just make him the blacksmith instead. And he has a wife, and I believe, yeah, he has two children as well. So, oh, that's another thing. I'm thinking of the way I kind of make these adventures is, or these campaigns, I guess, is kind of making or thinking up kind of scenes that can happen. They're really interesting, uh, just to add flavor and everything. So one thing I want to definitely make sure to happen when this halfling character uh, with her two sidekicks comes into Phandalin for the first time, especially as she's a halfling, is so kind of unusual. Although there is a halfling family, which I'll get into in a second, but these in the Lost Mines of Phandelver, they kind of spell out that there are these four kids, two of which are really into adventuring, like they want to be adventurers when they grow up. So I've got to have all four of these kids. They've got to be friends, and they all run up to the PCs and are just so enamored. They're going to um, kind of, ask a million questions as kids do, just be excited kids, I guess, to show how kind of interesting adventurers are. You're kind of heroes, especially as a bard. Uh, so, yeah, there's one of them named Carp, which is another amazing name. Carp Alderleaf is a halfling as well, so that'll be especially interesting for little Carp, for a halfling adventure to be passing by. And then, yeah, I think I want to just go through all of the NPCs because that's going to be interesting. Because I feel like I'm going to this first session, especially, just kind of most of it's going to be in Phandalin itself, the city, and then I want to do one adventure, hopefully, in the one session that we're doing. But it might not come to that. It probably will, because especially the first one is pretty short. I'm hoping for. But anyway, so I'm gonna go over the NPCs real fast. It's good to like make a list of all the NPCs that you think will be kind of brought up to kind of go over them ahead of time. That's kind of what I did here in my notes. So yeah, I wonder if I can switch. I can. Yeah, you can see that now. Okay, so like I said, here are the kids here. Also, the main place that's happening in the adventure is going to be in Phandalin specifically is the Townmaster's Hall, which has a big quest board out in front of it, kind of a World of Warcraft style, which is interesting. Interesting take on this. Unfortunately, my fiance doesn't have much experience with that either. But for people who have played World of Warcraft and MMOs and are coming over, it's brilliant. I kind of love it, although kind of silly too. But I think D&D is pretty silly anyway. It works out. Coffee time. So, yeah, the first person here is Harbin Wester, which is kind of the elected townmaster, who they specify as very cowardly, kind of overweight, um, just kind of a toady. They also kind of point out how he never even leaves the townmaster's hall here. He's just talking to them through the latched door because he's so scared of this dragon they've heard rumors of, and he's the one who will pay them for their quests. And I want to make him kind of annoying, basically. He's not going to give basically any information, and almost just comic relief. And I feel like personal challenge to me will be never having him open the door until the dragon's actually dead. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, another important area of the town is going to be the Stonehill Inn, which will probably be where she's staying. The three of them, although there's some other options possibly, but who knows? But yeah, Toblin Stonehill was a failed prospector, so that's going to be interesting. Kind of noted that. There's also Adabra Gwyn is this kind of in the first mission. Is let me see if I can move this over. Yeah, the quest called Umbridge Hill, I think, is going to be the first one that we're going to go to. So I'm trying to kind of seed some information about her, hopefully through these NPCs, to kind of entice my fiance, the PCs, to go there first, because that's kind of going to be the easiest one, hopefully. So the person that they're trying to kind of rescue in that is going to be Adabra Gwyn, who's like an alchemist, like a potion maker, who is, and a midwife, interestingly, who's gone to live in this windmill kind of a little bit out of town, and she's having problems with manticores. So I think the Stonehill family is kind of friends with her. Why not? Then yeah. Oh, also in the inn is Elsa, which is a gossipy barmaid. I think she's from Lost Mines of Phandalin. I don't know if she's in this particularly, but she sounds super fun. I think she'll be a good source of information, especially anything, I don't know, really juicy, I guess. So that could be interesting, especially as a bard and barmaids. They have a special connection. I'm going to see. It'll be interesting to see if that comes to play here. Another place that could be interesting, or used a lot, I guess, is Barthen's provisions. I don't know how much it'll actually be used, because I think the idea is that they just sell every random supply thing that could be bought in the player's handbook, which in my experience, players don't usually find a lot of interest in that kind of stuff. But I don't know, could be, who knows. It did say in the book says that Elmore Barthen is kind of an older guy who's selling the stuff, and he has two kind of I don't know, helpers, kind of helping move stuff, I guess, like supplies and things. Ander and Thistle, and Thistle sounded so much like a halfling name to me. I'm just making them a halfling. That's what this little H is for. To give another halfling situation going on. They might even be related to the other halfling family. Don't know if this was a boy or a girl yet. I'm using they for now, but yeah, that could be interesting. Like another possible connection, like a halfling going on in halfling brotherhood, I guess. But yeah, I don't. Oh, and the two kids also live here, but I don't know if this place is going to be interesting enough to actually see a lot of use. But who knows? We'll see. Next is Line Shield Coster, which is from their they do armors and weapon shop basically, but they bring them over from the east. I think it's Tribor or something. Um, Lenine Graywin is the owner. She sounds the way they describe her is really interesting. She's kind of a no nonsense kind of a. I feel like a nice abuela. Like she's going to I think Kate take a special interest in the PCs, look out for them, but kind of tough love sort of way. It does. I think the only thing they say about her in the book is that she won't sell to anyone who she thinks would be dangerous for the town, which kind of strikes me as overly protective, matronly, I guess. So that's how I plan to run her. We'll see. Um, Also, I add it from um, the sequel adventure, I guess. Which I forget the name of. I think it's like Storm King's Wrath or something. Or no, that's another thing. That's a totally different one. Anyway, doesn't matter. The possible sequel has introduces this character, which I thought was just way too awesome not to include. It's a usually. Let me make this bigger. You don't need to see my face. Shut up. Yeah, that might be a little bit more readable. Who knows? But anyway, Valine Firecrow, who is an elf, which I feel there wasn't a lot of elves in here, so this is good. Who's kind of helping Lenine out, and she just has I think several kobolds helping her out, which is so fascinating. Like what is happening here? I've got to explore that. I love kobolds, and they're kind of quote unquote good in this situation. I use the quotes because she's actually a spy for this cult of Talos, which I think um, I feel like she might get into that later. I might start her off not doing that. Maybe she's bribed. Maybe she's not actually a follower of Talos, which is kind of this theoretically evil god of storms and things. So I might just, yeah, I'm still up in the air. I might just play to find out. Um, Maybe if she's really likable, she'll be bribed later. And if she's not, if she's already suspicious, then I mean, you got to have those suspicions pay off. So we went over the woodcarver or possible blacksmith, the den drawers already. We have Darren Edermath? Yeah, Edermath. Interesting. I always want to say, I think I've read that as Eldermath every time except for right now to actually read it. But anyway, he's a retired adventurer. That could be really interesting. I think he's a half elf. He has an orchard outside of town. He could be pretty interesting person to talk to. I think he would be good at giving a lot of information to, especially adventuring advice. So I bet I'll get a lot of use out of him. I'm kind of feeling like an old cowboy type, like 1,000-yard stare, like I've seen some stuff in my day kind of thing. And I think he's also kind of taken it upon himself to be the protector of this town unofficially, probably, you know. So I'm excited about him. And I also, there's this other adventure that happens way later. I feel there's not a lot of ways to get there. It's kind of I think it's a hunting lodge in the middle of this big forest to the north. And there lives a guy named Falcon who is fascinating. He kind of is another adventurer, semi-retired, I guess, who gets rich nobles to go on like basically safaris. It feels like through this dangerous forest, but he's just like a tourist trap almost, which I'm really looking forward to. He's going to be amazing, and I have those two as friends, so maybe there's could be some rumors there that oh, if you need help, if you're going through that forest, see my friend Falcon. Interestingly, also they have if you give him wine, you'll get free room and board there, which is amazing. I love Falcon. Can't wait to meet him. Oh, then we have the Phandalin Miners Exchange. So this is kind of a money lender and money exchanger and record keeper of the town. It's run by Halia Thornton. Thornton, yeah, who sounds really fascinating. She is a secret um, agent of the Zentarium, which is sort of maybe like a big thieves guild over the whole country, basically, or most of the world, I guess, in Forgotten Realms. Um, so not necessarily bad, but or evil, but kind of I wouldn't trust her very much, and she's actively trying to subtly take over, especially with keeping all the records and all the bank accounts of everything. So she's kind of a shady character. So I'm hoping that we'll get to meet her. Also, yeah, to encourage that, I'm hoping that maybe giving out more gems than usual in these kind of treasure things that happen throughout, so that the only way they'll be able to exchange them for gold is to kind of see her, so she'll have a use. And next, there is the farmstead of Killeen Alderleaf. Man, I'm gonna have problems pronouncing that. Alderleaf. Alderleaf. I gotta practice that before the game starts. But anyway, so she's a farmer. She's a halfling, um, and the mother of Carp, little Carp, the halfling child. Um, I'm baffled that she is the only farmer. Like, I feel like she's got to have some farm hands or something. I might add some people in there, or at least nameless NPCs to name later, I guess. But I feel like there would be no interest in seeing this person in most games, but since she is a halfling, my fiance's PC may end up kind of trying to meet this person, especially little Carp. I just imagine Carp being so cute. I can't wait. But I also have her knowing Falcon, the retired adventurer in the forest, and probably friends with Edermath. Edermath. I gotta practice the name. What are you doing, David? But anyway, next there's the Shrine of Timora, where there's an elf, the kind of Timora, if you don't know, is the like I think goddess of luck, and also has a special place in Halfling society too. So that could be pretty interesting. I think when I was looking up the lore, she halflings think that she was a halfling originally, and then kind of appears as humans occasionally. But humans worship her a lot as well. And well, despite all of that, this person who's running it or keeping track or care of it, keeping care of it, taking care of it. There we go. Anyway, the person that lives there at the shrine is Sister Graeli. Graeli. Interesting. I like that. I've not said most of these out loud. It's interesting. But anyway, she is an elf. So they're more, I guess, important to elves too. At least one. And she is a secret harper who's kind of the good guy secret organization. And the adventure says that she should not be here most of the time. I assume because she can kind of give healing potions and stuff, and they want to reserve that right for the alchemist, Adabra, who's in the windmill. So I think I might have her start in Phandalin, and then maybe when after an adventure or something, it turns out that she kind of left. But if the PCs do go to her, I think it makes sense that she's friends with Falcon too. I feel she's been trying to recruit him to be a harper, and maybe hasn't taken yet. Finally, the last place of interest really is the Sleeping Giant, which is a bar. It's like really run down and kind of a garbage bar. Like it's very unclean and stuff. It's run by this dwarf named Grista, who's, I feel, just awful, like mean. I feel if the PCs go in here, they'll just be a string of insults, or just indifference. It's fascinating that this place is here, um, but it plays more of a role in the Lost Mines of Phandelver, where there's a lot of these kind of like bandits, or they. It says they started off as a militia for Phandalin, and then they kind of grew into bandits. They're just kind of terrorizing the town, led by Glassstaff here. And I kind of want to foreshadow that. So I think maybe not right away, but maybe a couple of adventures in, Glassstaff is going to show up as, I think they said in that the Lost Mines of Phandelver that he was kind of sent by some other city, Neverwinter maybe, the huge city nearby, to kind of protect the city from this dragon or whatever is going on. Goblins, I think, in that adventure. So he might show up, and he's a shifty character for sure. He is, just a pretty. I think he's specifically evil, but he's going to show up and kind of cause some trouble. And I think we're going to kind of end it, this whole Dragon of Icespire Peak, with him kind of gaining power and situation being about where it was when Lost Mines of Phandelver starts. So he's going to be gaining more and more power, and he and his goons, I guess, are going to hang out at the Sleeping Giant Inn most of the time, or the Sleeping Giant Tavern, I guess. So yeah, I have some other. Oh yeah, factions come next. Those are another thing that I try to use a lot when I'm setting up adventures like this, or longer games. There's lots of moving parts going on, lots of people trying to get their way, and if the PCs kind of don't do anything, they will get their way. I'm just exactly stealing this from Apocalypse World and Dungeon World, kind of a front situation. So I haven't set up their ultimate plans because the adventures kind of do that pretty well, but I just wrote them out so I kind of can keep them in the back of my head as this is going on. So I have Phandalin itself as a faction. They want stability, they want to grow their town. Kind of pretty normal, self-explanatory. There's also these Talos Anchorites. I think it's spelled like that. So I think I mentioned it before. There's this these cultists of Talos. In this adventure, I think they're half orcs that can turn into boars, which is fascinating. I love this. And they can summon they're trying to summon a kind of like elemental lightning boar, like a giant lightning boar, which is going to be amazing. And I kind of, so in my game, here's a tangent for you, but in my games, I kind of like all of the evil humanoid races. It's never really sat well with me. So I usually try to paint them more in shades of gray. So I think Talos and his worship, I'm not going to make him an overtly evil god, nor his followers. And I kind of feel that I think they might be trying to summon, I think, Gorthok, the lightning boar, as kind of a weapon against the white dragon. But they need to more allies and more kind of, I don't know, some kind of MacGuffin to make this ritual work well. And that's kind of their plot. And they're going about it in maybe some not ideal ways for the people of Phandalin. But I think ultimately their motives I'm going to make kind of better than what the adventure would have you believe, to to make it, more interesting to me at least. And they could be possible allies in this too. So they're doing their thing. Also, I have there's a bunch of orcs. So this, I guess, tribe of orcs were living where the white ice dragon is now roosting, basically. And that tribe of orcs were kind of pushed out. A lot of them were killed and eaten, and they kind of are trying to find a new place to live. And like again, like I feel like I don't want to make them overtly evil, so they're kind of just like really rough refugees is how I'm kind of gonna treat them. So they could also be allies. It's going to be harder, I think. And in fact, I feel pretty soon if nothing, um, if the PCs don't do anything to interfere with this, I think the orcs and uh, the Talos anchorites are going to team up really soon, which I think they kind of hint at in the adventure too. So these anchorites are going to have a bunch of orc soldiers to help them. Also, there are these were rats, and this is fascinating. I've read a lot of kind of advice on how to run this adventure, and this is one of the most controversial aspects because were creatures, lycanthropes, they can't really be harmed by anything that's not silver or magical, which makes this really dangerous for low level characters. So definitely one piece of advice that I'm going to follow, and you listeners should also follow, is to make sure to get some kind of +1 weapon or something silver, or at least some NPCs that kind of know the kind of the lore or the legends of lycanthropes, because otherwise they're going to be really hard to beat, these were rats. But anyway, they've also been kicked out of their house, their kind of lair, by the orcs, who, yeah, that happens way later, or you go to their lair later. But the rats, I feel like I want them to be foreshadowed more ahead of time. I'm trying to think of how to do that, but who knows? At least they are a faction as well. They've got their own motives, and I mean, again, they could also be convinced to join in or ally with, or at least help out a little bit. And another one. Okay, yeah, I haven't talked about these kids yet. This is really interesting. So the Stone Cold Reavers are this other band of mercenaries. They're only introduced in the very end. They snuck into the White Dragon's lair that he took from the orcs. It's like a castle in Icespire, um, and they're super interesting. I love them. I don't understand why they're not introduced faster. I think, in addition to that, kids kind of mobbing the PCs when they enter, I've got to introduce the Stone Cold Reavers in this first session. I think they're going to be at the job board, the quest board. Also, maybe they're kind of like the darker kind of foil. They're like also doing some quests, maybe, or competing for some quests, or maybe at first I'm thinking they're gonna just kind of scoff, like, oh, 20, 25 gold pieces for this? That's nothing. It's beneath me, and kind of just show ahead of time that they're kind of assholes to set up later, and hopefully there'll be a couple introductions of them as we keep going to make that kind of finale, where they kind of, it seems like working together with them is the better idea in the finale to kind of overthrow this dragon. But you could also just attack them as well. But either way, that's going to be really interesting, especially if we kind of foreshadow it ahead of time. And also the dragon. Dragon has his own thing. Just kind of wants to eat people. And in fact, about to wrap up here, but I wanted to do this dragon roll. So interestingly, let me see. Yeah, this thing. So fascinating is that one part of this adventure is every time, I think before you do an adventure, probably says in here, you should roll randomly to see where the dragon is. And kind of rumors will spread that the dragon has been attacking people at a specific area. So I'm going to roll that now and see where we end up. So let's see. All right, I'm using this roll for your party thing. So let's see. We want a D20. 10, eh? Leyland. Okay, interesting. So that's kind of the big city nearby. Do I have a map of that handy? I do not. But anyway, trust me, it's there. It's I guess the next biggest city. It's very similar. The sequel actually takes place there. So yeah, interesting. So great. That'll mean in this rumors thing. Definitely want to add that. So yeah, that's pretty much all the adventures or all the NPCs for this adventure that I'm gonna deal with. And yeah, like I said, I'm gonna try to set up that Umbridge Hill is gonna be the main place. Oh yeah, actually, let me show you that. I think the maps. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, here's the map. Okay, actually, this is what I was looking for. This is where Leyland is. This is Phandalin, where they are. So kind of the closest major city. But yeah, I think that's all. I'm pretty excited to see how it goes. The NPCs are the main thing that I feel like is going to happen in this thing, especially because my fiance hasn't really run a lot, so it's going to be really interesting to play all these characters with her, kind of give her an idea of that. Oh yeah, I remember why I brought this up. I was like, why did I bring this map up again? Yes, Umbridge Hill is right there. So the other two are south. So she's going to have the way this adventure set up, there's like 3 options, and 2 of them are down here, and this one, the one I wanted to go to, is kind of in the middle. So it's going to be impossible for her not to see this on the way, at least, unless she decides to go somewhere crazy, which it's D&D, so that could happen. But yes, I think that's over. I'm done talking your ear off. I hope that helps a little bit of people kind of starting out on this one. And yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. I'll kind of try to get back to you. I might do this for the next thing we do, the next adventure after this. Maybe I'll just come back and tell you how it went. But yeah, thanks so much. I will see you next time.